Hey, I'm Emma Garlett and welcome to Paint It Blak. Today, I'm in New South Wales on Gadigal country in Sydney, and I'm going to talk about why I think the age of criminal responsibility is too low. The United Nations Committee on the Rights of Child recommended in 2019 that the minimum age of criminal responsibility should be 14 years old. For most of Australia, the age still remains at 10 years old. In Victoria, ex-Premier Dan Andrews promised to raise the age to 14, but the new government has reneged on this deal, instead raising the age to 12. Here in New South Wales, nothing has been done to raise the age of criminal responsibility. And let's look at the stat. In New South Wales, last year, more than 4,600 youth aged 10 to 13 years old were subjected to legal proceedings. Of those youth, more than 40% were Indigenous. They are 3 times more likely to see legal proceedings than non-Indigenous youth. The detention stats are pretty grim too. Still in New South Wales, 171 youth aged 10 to 13 years old are in detention, 60% of which are Indigenous. 82% of children aged 10 to 13 years who appeared in court were identified in a child protection report as at risk of significant harm. And 37% of those kids had accessed specialist homelessness services. The most common offences were theft, 36%, and violence, 30%. Like Victoria, the Northern Territory raised the age from 10 to 12 years old last August. And the ACT raised the age to 12 in November last year, with new legislation set for another increase to 14 years old by 2025. The Tasmanian government has pledged to raise the age from 10 to 14, along with a minimum age of detention to 16 by 2029. Sadly, the criminal age of responsibility still stands at 10 years old in Western Australia, South Australia and Queensland. In WA, there is a movement through social reinvestment to advocate for raising the age to 14, while in South Australia there's currently a survey by Your Say to raise the age to 12. The Queensland government supports raising the age from 10 to 12 but hasn't made any solid commitments. Remember, the United Nations recommends the age of criminal responsibility as 14 years old. And the reality is locking kids who haven't even finished primary school won't help. It might even make things worse. Too many of these young kids are Indigenous and come from disadvantaged backgrounds. They and their families need more support, education and guidance. They don't need to see the inside of a prison cell. The age of criminal responsibility needs to be raised. Locking kids up isn't the answer. Thanks for watching Paint It Blak with me, Emma Garlett. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.